For many women, a public range can actually be the one barrier to picking up a gun, simply because they don't know what to expect. And let's be honest, most range environments are not exactly like a day at the spa. They can be crowded, loud, and sometimes pretty intimidating. But don't worry, there are many range environments that are really starting to focus on creating inviting spaces for all types of shooters. And I've found that no matter where you go, the more armed you are, with information of course, the more comfortable you'll feel and the more fun your day at the range can be. So in this episode, we'll dive into the do's and don'ts you'll need to know for your first trip to the range. I'm Natalie Foster, and this is Love at First Shot, sponsored by Smith Wesson. I visited my friend Tina Wilson Cohen, founder of She Can Shoot, in DC to find out the #1 need to know. What on earth do you wear? Tina, thanks so much for chatting with us today. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about right now is going to the range for the first time, and a lot of people don't know exactly what they should wear and what they should do while they're there. But specifically, they want to know, can I go from work? Should I wear jeans? Should I wear old, dirty clothes? Like, what would you recommend for a first-time shooter going to the range?
Exactly. Well, I would highly recommend, especially if it's your first time, that you go ahead and make sure that you have your legs covered up. Maybe you wear a hat, and definitely not a low-cut shirt. And the reason why we do that is because you're not quite sure yet what to expect when you're going out there on the range. Okay, and we get what we call these empty shell casings.
Yes.
Okay.
I think any experienced shooter knows about the empty shell casing.
Especially if you're shooting a semi-automatic, the empty shell casings can pop out on the top of the slide of the semi-automatic. And they can also be quite hot.
It's really important to have everything covered.
Right, the cap actually will help protect, as far as this coming towards your face. It keeps your hair out of the way too. So.
And there's that. And it could be any sort of fabulous hat because I like to look cute at the range.
Right.
But it is important to be practical as well.
And even if, you have the low-cut shirt or maybe a low buttons, you can always have like a nice light jacket that you can maybe throw over the front of you, and it just has a zipper and you can just zip it all the way up.
Right, or a scarf or something like that, as long as it's protecting that area, just because, trust me, you don't want to be doing the hot brass dance. Great, well, I think that we now know what to wear to the range and what not to wear to avoid hot brass touching our skin. So thank you so much, Tina. I really, really appreciate that. That's a great little tidbit. Well, Tina had some wonderful information for us, but now I'm at Smith & Wesson, and I've got some fabulous folks lined up to tell us more about what to expect for your first time on the range. I'm with Laurel Smith, who is the brand director here at Smith & Wesson, and we're going to talk about our first time at the range and what to expect there. And there's so much to know, Laurel.
There's a lot to know. There's a lot of stuff that's written down,
right?
And there's a lot of stuff that's not.
Right.
The thing to understand is that ask questions, because everybody is super excited to get you shooting.
So when we do walk through those doors for the first time, what can we expect?
Really nothing, I would say, quite earth-shattering, if you will. We've all gone shopping, and so, there's gonna be a counter. There's gonna be a person behind the counter. You're gonna let them know that you're there to shoot, and they're gonna probably have some questions for you. They're gonna start asking you questions on terms of what's your level of comfort, what's your level of experience? Because they're gonna wanna make sure that if you're gonna rent a gun, that you're gonna rent a gun that's gonna allow you to have the best experience, and also to be really safe and to feel comfortable and confident.
After we talk to the person at the desk, then there's usually paperwork.
Right.
So what comes next?
So we always talk about eyes and ears, and so really what that means is you want to make sure you have protective glasses on, and that's going to protect you when you're on the range shooting. Semi-automatic guns actually eject the shells on the range, and so you want to make sure that your eyes are protected from that. You also want to have ears, earmuffs, or in the ear protection, the little foamies. Yeah. Exactly. So it's all about being safe and making sure that all of that is protected, so that when you're on the range, you can really just focus on shooting and having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the counter to the range, let's talk a little bit about that process.
Before you go onto the range, it's really important, put your eyes, ears, and hat on before you go in. Most of the times the ranges that you enter, they're gonna be live ranges, so people are gonna be shooting. And you don't want to walk onto a range without that protection. It's really important.
Okay, great. So, all right, I'm on the range, and of course, there's some really important safety rules. So let's talk about that.
Okay, we always talk about that there are really kind of 4 main ones. So first one is always treat a firearm as if it's loaded. Number 2 is finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. And then number 3, always point your gun downrange. Always make sure that your gun is pointed in a safe direction.
Right.
The last one is always know what's your target and what is behind your target. Really important, again, for safety reasons.
Okay, so we've covered all the important safety rules. Thank you so much for all that very valuable input. Now I'm gonna go select a gun to shoot on the range. I'm really excited about that. Julie's gonna help me out, so.
Have fun.
Yeah, thank you, it's gonna be great. All right, I'm gonna head over there. Thank you again.
Absolutely, thanks for coming.
I'm here with my good friend, Julie Golub, who also happens to be both the team captain for Smith Wesson and an amazingly decorated champion shooter. So I'm pretty lucky to get to chat with you today. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Good, good. So let's talk a little bit about a person's first trip to the range and what am I looking for in a gun when I choose it for the first time?
There definitely are a lot of choices out there, and the one thing that I recommend you start with is ask for a 22 caliber. 22 is very soft shooting, and it allows you to focus on the fundamentals of shooting.
It really builds confidence because you really see that it's not scary. It's a lot of fun, and you know, if you never want to go out from a 22, that's totally fine. But if you want to increase your caliber size after that, that's fine too. But you've built in the good habits, right, with the 22 that you're talking about.
Definitely. It has nothing to do with what you're capable of handling, because women can handle lots of heavy recoil firearms,
Sure.
but it's all about what you're confident with, and then you can take your shooting to the next level with whatever firearm you choose.
Cool. Okay, so when you're choosing the first gun to shoot, you've got semi-autos and then you've got revolvers as well. What would you start with?
A lot of times when you go to the range, the person behind the counter will recommend a revolver for women to shoot because it's very simple. The nice thing about revolvers is when you pull the trigger, they go bang. It's very simple, so it makes it a very good choice for a lot of people who are starting out.
Got it. Okay, so let's talk about semi-autos then.
Yes.
There's a lot more going on with a semi-auto.
There's a lot more going on with a semi-auto. The semi-auto has a slide, and unlike the revolver with the cylinder that moves around, and everything is controlled within that tiny little cylinder, semi-autos are magazine fed, and that's how the ammunition comes up, enters the chamber, and the shot is fired. But the important thing to remember if you do choose a semi-auto is that the slide does move back and forth. So you want to make sure you have a very good grip on the gun and that your hand isn't in the way, because that thing is going to move back and forth very
Okay,
quickly.
so when you say the slide,
Yep.
that's this piece right here,
Yep,
correct?
the upper portion above the grip of the firearm.
Right, so this one is going to move like that.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Well, I am really excited about this variety we have, and I don't know about you, but I'm ready to go shoot.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right.
Let me see. Put bump of the safety up. Put bump of the safety up.
We've made it out to the range, and now we've got everything set up and ready to go. What next?
Now we're just gonna set up a target. Now, you don't need to put it very, very far. We want to build confidence. We want to have a good time. So you don't need to put it to the maximum distance that the range has.
Absolutely. I think that's a really important point because so many people feel pressure to put their target all the way at the back and see how good they are when they first start, but I think it's really important to keep it close.
Exactly. Yeah. But the important things to remember is this is your shooting lane. This is your portal with which you can shoot from. So you want to make sure that the muzzle of the gun, the end of the barrel, stays within this area at all times.
All right, cool. So we've got everything here. Now what?
The next thing that you can do is become more familiar with the firearm itself. So you can work on your grip, your stance, lining up the sights. So if you want to get situated, get a good grip on the gun and kind of get comfortable. Very nice grip.
Thank you.
We've done this before.
Once or twice.
One of the recommendations that I like to make for first-time shooters is to only put either one round in the magazine or in the cylinder if you're using a revolver. And that's just in case you don't want to shoot anymore, or you feel very uncomfortable. The gun will be empty, you can set it on the counter, you can ask a range officer for help, and then you have no worries.
Great, I think that's a great idea too. Okay, great. So can I go ahead and load up?
Load them up.
All right.
Very nice.
Thank you.
That is a very nice grip you have there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Shooting for the first time can be an intimidating experience.
But with good friends and a knowledge of firearm safety, it can be a lot of fun. Awesome! That was great. I'm sorry, was that too loud? I got so excited for her.
Well, that was so much fun. And one of my passions is sharing experiences like these with others. So let's head back to Texas where we will join a newbie shooting for the very first time.
I'm here at Frisco Gun Club, just north of Dallas, Texas, and my friend Melissa has joined me, and she's a first-timer. So this is kind of exciting.
It is. I'm a little nervous too.
So you're a mom of 3.
That's right. I have a 6-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old little boy and a 2-year-old little girl.
Cool. And so tell me a little bit about your history with guns.
Well, I grew up in the city, so I didn't have a whole lot of opportunity to really go hunting or shoot guns that much, but my husband, on the other hand, grew up in the country, and so guns were a part of his life, and he went hunting and was just very comfortable around them.
Yeah.
And now that we have kids and get to go back to the country with them, it's really neat seeing my kids developing an interest in the guns, and it makes me kind of think, maybe I should learn a little more about this.
Cool, cool. So does being a mom play into wanting to learn to shoot for you?
Yes, definitely. You know, I am a stay-at-home mom of the 3 kids, and so there are a lot of times when I'm at home by myself, and I feel like it's my responsibility to protect them. My husband travels for his work, so I really want to do everything that I can.
Cool. So it's really about protection for you, and also, you know, working with the kids, helping them be aware of what's going on, and gun safety and that kind of thing, right?
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
cool. So here at the Frisco Gun Club, of course, this is an unusual type of club. They're just now starting to kind of emerge on the scene, and people are calling them country clubs, which I think is genius and hilarious. And I think it describes this setting very well, don't you?
Yes, it's very fancy. Very nice.
And it kind of plays into more of, I don't know, just a comforting space, right?
Definitely something that a mom and a woman would feel comfortable in.
Yeah, less intimidating. So I'm ready to go get started if you are.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Nice. You were a total natural. Like everywhere, you know, you aim, you hit the spot. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised.
Well, I'm not at all. Did you find it easy, or was it daunting, or tell me about like kind of the emotions. Walk me through what happened there.
I was definitely nervous at first to actually kind of pull the trigger.
Huh.
I feel like it's doing, you try.
You just weren't squeezing it hard enough. That's okay though.
But
That's
then
okay.
after that
Just
first
ready to
trigger
go.
pull of each gun, I realized, okay, we can do this. And then I started to think about aiming and other things after I got that first trigger pull.
Talk about the recoil, because you know, before your husband had really warned you about recoil, and it was so scary. So what did you think about that in particular?
It was not that bad at all, especially the first 2 had nothing, and then I liked the way you described the last one of, you know, the gun will, you know, go up rather than knock me off my feet and, you know.
She goes, I'll try for the 9, and shot the hole out of the 9. It sounds like you had a great time. You looked like you had a great time. So I'm really proud of you and really glad that you know, came, and we're just willing to try something new and different, and I hope you gain something from it.
Yes, definitely helps keep an open mind and show other people that we can do it, you know, just give it a try.
Well, you did an excellent job. I'm so proud of you. High five.
Thanks.
So we've spoken to the experts, and we've had a great time with the first timer at the range, and now it's time to take a look at our checklist from our good friends at Cabela's. So we always talk about hot brass, right? And we really want to prevent that. So this first option is one that I absolutely love. It is from the Cabela's clothing line. It's a really cozy hoodie, and as you can see, it has this asymmetrical line that leads up to a very high neck, so you never have to worry about that hot brass. The other perk of this hoodie actually is that you can wear it straight from the gun range to the yoga studio. Now, moving up, I can't emphasize the importance of eye protection and ear protection enough. And of course, this set kills 2 birds with 1 stone. You get both of them together. We've got the external ear protection in these muffs, and as we said, of course, you always want to try on that ear protection with your eye protection so you know they're very comfortable. But now if internal ear protection is more your speed, Cabela's has this wonderful option in this custom ear mold kits. It's got everything that you need, the instructions are all there, so you'll be good to go, and it comes in a variety of colors. I actually wear these things to the range every time. I really, really like them. And last but not least, the ever important hat. Cabela's actually carries plenty of great options in lots of different styles like these. This one, of course, is the traditional baseball cap style, and this one has more of a military bill. Either one's fine as long as you've got your face covered. So now you're all set. You're ready for your big day at the range. And we can't wait to hear all about it. So hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Get out there, be safe, have fun, and we look forward to seeing you again next time on Love at First Shot, sponsored by Smith Wesson.